the hospital systems are things that you don't really see. They're usually concealed above ceilings, behind walls, and they really provide function for the hospital. The design of the mechanical systems is pretty standard. We do include in this project redundancy, so in case something fails, they can continue to use the equipment and not sacrifice any downstream comfort. But we also consider the constraints, so the size and shape of the building, the floor-to-floor ceiling height, and things like that.
You have medical gas, you have oxygen, you have electric, you have steam, you have cooling, you have domestic water, you have P-tube. Basically, you have to protect these systems from people and outside spaces. So we put a lot of these mechanical pipings behind shaft walls. A lot of your ductwork that will penetrate from floor to floor will also be behind shaft walls. But it's very important to protect these systems because the heat that comes off these things could hurt somebody. We have almost 1 million pounds of ductwork in this building. This ductwork overhead, some of the sizes on this gets up to 13'6" by 13'6". So theoretically, you can almost park 2 cars inside of it. Behind you, you'll see this big air handler set, and it's this big silver box that we have. We have 4 of them on this floor. So theoretically, 2 of these could service everywhere from penthouse all the way down to level 5. But we do have redundant systems up here in case something happens with 2 of those. These 4 generators serve as if we lose power to the building. Okay, so this would fire up our critical electric and as well as some of the normal electric.
So one of these generators powers about 500 residential homes, so combined 2,000 residential homes. One of them is really designed to send power to East-West Pavilion to provide emergency generator capacity or emergency power for systems in that building. So these are the fuel oil storage tanks behind me. There are 5, and they're each 15,000 gallons. There's 75,000 gallons total within these tanks. And this supplies fuel to all the generators. So the generators can run for 96 hours on this fuel.
And what those are 24-inch pipes, roughly 210 feet tall, came up in 85-foot sections. And those were set. You see those mufflers at the top, and we have our FAA lighting blinking right now. But with the generators that we have here to my right, we actually had to bring a separate crane in, set it up on the street, and we had to fly these in, what they would call drifting them in. They had to actually have a platform underneath these that were bolted to the side of our building and then pulled in because our tower cranes could not handle that weight over there. So we went over and above to make sure we got this equipment in safe, and we got it down the building safely. Steam Vault took a year to plan. We had to actually shut down Kings Highway, and what we had to do is dig a 15-foot by 15-foot by 15-foot hole out in the middle of Kings Highway and install the Steam Vault. The steam produces heat for our building, so it produces heat for heating our domestic water, for mechanical water. There are heat pumps that we have in here. It's anything that you feel HVAC-wise. If you want heat, that's what that steam is used for. Icon actually assembled the whole module on the inside of it and had it ready to go to speed up time. We dug a hole. We got a footing in there. We stacked the pieces out. Icon put their piece in the middle of it. We connected the pipe on both sides and allowed us to have steam in the building.
We actually, in the Steam Vault, have a future tap for like a future extension into East Pavilion to tie into the boiler plant in that basement so that it's there's more redundancy in a loop.
So we're back here in the chiller section, and what we're looking at is we have 4 chillers set up. We have the cooling towers, and what they're doing is we're actually heating and cooling up in the cooling towers. We're taking the heat off the chillers. It's evaporating in the air, that's recooling, recirculating itself, coming back down to the chillers, and then hits a chiller pump. And these chillers service all the chilled water for all the mechanical systems also.
We use chilled water from the chillers, and then we have a smaller system that keeps it in a certain temperature range, and we send that chilled water specifically tempered to a lot of the imaging modalities, so MRIs, CTs, IRs.
Looking at the pneumatic tubing, we call it P-tube here. And what this does is we have our transfer boxes in here. It takes all the systems, anything that the nurses want to send to like another building or throughout this building, it'll actually come up to this floor. It'll get distributed and sent back out. We have bridges that connect us to the Southwest Tower. And what this does is allow them to take medicine, supplies, or anything from this building over to the Southwest Tower as fast as possible. Swisslog takes care of all this stuff, and they maintain it. They'll do an O&M on it and everything. And actually, BJC has their own P2 person that maintains all this stuff.
Barnes Jewish Hospital facilities will maintain this building once it is turned over to them. And we've integrated them into the team so that we can get ahead of any challenges that they might have.